PTG, Proxy Table Gaming, Hyper G, and Lucky Sixes.
Aloha.
Hello, you are nodding away as if it's just an old thing now, just me and you for a battle report,
Just, yeah, just nodding.
Yeah.
No, I'm feeling pretty good. I've started hobbying again.
Yeah.
Weirdly.
That's been a while, isn't it?
It has, yeah.
Last picked up a brush.
Oh, Gobbo's made me lazy.
He's definitely made me lazy. I'll never pick up a paintbrush again.
Yeah.
Unless I'm passing it to Gobbo. So
now I've dug out a load of stuff and I've started assembling some things as well.
That's probably the only part I can do.
Yeah. I forgot how finicky it is though, and all the getting
the glue on fingers.
Glue on fingers, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's
wash your hands afterwards, folks.
Well, preferably. Doesn't always work on glue though, does it?
No.
Yeah. But I won't ask you what you're assembling and everything because it'll be a surprise.
It will, and I might even make it into a few videos. We'll see. We'll see if there's demand for it. I might. Oh
well, there you go. There's the first call for the comments, isn't it? If there is a demand for Lucky Six's hobbying videos, then tell us.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Yeah. That'd be good. That would be good. But we're not here for a hobbying modelling video today.
Not today.
Keep your shirt on, Lucky Sixes. No modelling.
If there's demand.
Well, yes, if there's demand. Tommy,
get
that comment in quick. So let's have a battle report, shall we?
Why not?
Yeah. So this is me again. But again, have I done the last one? Yeah, it was our video report last week, wasn't it?
Yeah. Cheers everybody for all the comments. Seems to have gone down quite well.
Yes. Yeah. We enjoyed doing it, and it's nice to see positive responses for it as well. So good stuff. But yes, this is a normal battle report, which obviously we're reporting on via pictures because this isn't a video. And it is my Saurians, the exact same list as the last battle, but this time I'll have the list on screen to talk about a bit more. Going against Empire of Sonnstahl, which I haven't played in a little while. Did come up against them once at Art of War with my orcs, but good to see Sonnstahl again. We'll see who is playing them in a minute. But we played Dawn Assault and King of the Hill. Everybody loves King of the Hill. Is it going to be a 1-1?
Yeah, it's basically if you don't get a draw.
Yeah, it is. If one person doesn't get a draw in King of the Hill, then it's amazing.
Well, if both of you doesn't, I guess.
Well, yeah, that's true. Yeah, very true. Good point. So my list, this is exactly the same as the video report. So it has got the two Saurian characters, both on Raptors, but intending to be inside the Saurian warrior unit.
So that doesn't change with the...
No, that doesn't change, despite the learned Banner of the Relentless Company details. I just need to basically learn how to use the banner properly without breaking the rules and messing with my tactics mid-battle.
Sure.
Which he didn't mess with it too much anyway, because it ended up okay. But yeah, it just means you manage your expectations a bit better of what they can and can't do. So I'm going with it again. So the Warlord's got blessed inscriptions on the paired weapons, Crown of the Wizard King, and Potion Swiftness. So we'll see what spell he rolls up. It's Crown of the Wizard King. Yeah. I'm liking it so far. I enjoyed that so much through Art of War. I haven't really yet had a battle where I rolled a spell that I didn't like for him. Or not found useful.
That's very lucky then. Although saying that, a lot of the number ones are pretty good.
Yeah, pretty versatile, aren't they? Yeah.
Like a few of them are spiky against certain armies, but otherwise they're pretty useful.
Yeah. The BSB veteran has the Totem of Mixotal, which I forget in this battle.
There we go. Spoiler.
Yeah, until a certain point. There you go. I added on. So now it's not a spoiler because you don't know when I forget until maybe I remember
until I use it.
Yeah, exactly. He's got paired weapons, rod of battle. So I've also got the +1 to hit in combat if I'll ever get to use it.
What armor save is he?
2 up. They're both 2 up. If they had shields, then they could be 1 up.
Sure.
But I choose to take paired weapons instead. Well, I mean, technically they could have shields and paired weapons, but as they're inside an infantry unit, then they can't be picked out of it. I don't feel they need the 1 up when they're going to be using 2 up in combat anyway.
Sure.
So yeah, it's basically armor 2 from the Raptors, armor 2 from the Saurians, and then light armor each.
Yeah, sure, because they have innate armor.
Yeah, it's like scaly skin.
Yeah.
But yeah, exactly. It's in there normally now. Skink Priest, not to be confused with the Quattle. He is on the Skink Palanquin, using Druidism, which I really loved in that battle against you. I really enjoyed that. And I know Druidism is apparently the yawn fest, but, you know, we'll see. He's got a Sun Tablet, so he can choose any of the spells within Druidism as well, and Magical Heirloom, so he gets... Magical Heirloom is... I always forget which one that is. That's...
Hereditary.
The Hereditary, yes, Spark Creation. That's
yeah,
that's
right.
The
Sun Tablet is insane. That's really
very good. It's a really good item to have for Saurians. Then I got my 2 Skink Captains on the Alpha Ramphidons. There's the vanguarding chap.
Yeah.
Big unit of Saurian warriors with Crocodile for the +1 armor in combat, spears, and Banner of the Relentless. A chaffing utility skink unit to round out core. Then we got my 3 units of 5 Raptor Riders, all scoring, mobility scoring units. We didn't get any comments to reveal my choices behind my list, did we? No comments mentioned what little thing I was in this list. So maybe I'll reveal it after this one. Then I got 2 Salamanders and a Spearback, 2 units of 5 Chameleons, and a Taurosaur Engine of the Gods. Don't leave home without the engine. So, who am I against with Empire Sonnstahl? It is the return of the Stat Rat.
Stat Rat.
He's back.
Himself.
He's back with a bang. Yes, exactly. Been away from the game for a good couple of years. But yeah, he said, let's have a battle. And I will admit, right from the off, I had quite a heavy hand in choosing his list. He basically said to me a few hours. Well, yeah, exactly. A few hours before the battle itself, he said to me, he's not going to have a chance to write his list properly, and he doesn't know how much the Empire book's changed since he's been away. So could I remember what list he used to play and make a list out of it? So, tempting as it was, I gave him all 4,500 points of it instead of, Clara, 3,000 points or anything like that. So he has got Wizard Divination. I know he likes Divination with the Binding Scroll and Talisman of the Void for an extra channel. He has got a Martial BSB on a horse, Black Steel. That's 2 up armor, I think, or maybe 1 up once it's all combined, and the 5 up Aegis. Prelate on a horse as well with plate armor and weapon death warrant, so that if that guy does some hits in combat, then his unit gets battle focus because he's attacking before them usually. A Knight Commander who's the general with a lance and Windsor Cloak, so he gets distracting, +1 armor, and the 5 of Aegis, very useful item.
Is it Aegis or is it regen?
Aegis, but he's also, I think it's also against flaming as well. There's a whole load it does. It's very good.
Sweet.
But it is now like 70 points or something.
Yeah.
Like that, so, but very good for a general in the unit. 15 Electoral Cavalry, so he likes playing the Knight bus a lot. So they're the upgraded knightly orders with lances. Then a extra unit of scoring, 5 Electoral Cavalry. And the non-upgraded, I think you can have more than 1 knightly orders.
No.
He's got a big unit of Halberdiers. I couldn't remember whether he used to play this unit or not, but I know that it was one of the first units he bought and painted himself. So I stuck him in because I remembered him having them. But I don't know if he used to play them or not. I know that he definitely plays this big unit of Imperial Guard, so he's got a maximum unit of that, which is pretty cool with Banner of Speed. And the Arcane Engine basically takes away their great weapon by giving them lightning reflexes.
Sure.
So I know he likes having those units combined so that the Imperial Guard can attack at their own agility, which is pretty cool. 2 units of 5 Rangers has his chap, really. 2 volley guns and a steam tank. I was really surprised because when I was choosing the artillery and the steam tank, I actually originally chose a cannon, a volley gun, and a steam tank, but that goes over the points allowance in that category. So I had to change it to 2 volley guns. So
by much?
Only about 30 points or so, but it's quite a limited category, the artillery category. But I guess the steam tank takes a lot of that out with 500 points and etc. Anyway, let's see how we go, shall we?
Yeah,
there is Stat Rat ready to rock and roll.
He's rumbling.
And or roll in the den of the Stat Rat. So what do we got? For what random reasons, I took a few pictures of deployment, and they don't really show much difference.
Oh, right,
so
okay.
we'll bear with us here, but this shows most of it here. So on my left, I've got a unit of Raptor Riders, where you can see the saber-toothed tiger, right on the far left. You can see one saber-tooth tiger.
Yeah.
Then the skinks on the hill, salamander, spearback salamander in a sort of triangle formation. Then a unit of raptor riders behind, Taurosaur with the engine, the 2 Ramphadon skink captains either side of my Saurian warrior unit, another unit of raptor riders on the right flank, and the 2 chameleons up front.
Did you drop?
So I dropped probably at the very last point when it would guarantee me choice of turns.
Okay.
And
So
I dropped
3.
the first.
So.
Yeah, 3, and it was pretty much. No, I think I could have dropped earlier. Dawn Assault, there's no restrictions on it.
No, I mean, oh right, okay.
Yeah, there's we didn't. We went 1 for 1 for about 3 turns.
Shit.
And then I dropped, and it just so happened it was like he had 5 more units to drop at that point.
Okay.
So. Yeah, I think there was a chance that it could turn around. If I rolled a 1 and he rolled a 6, then it could have turned around. So we were actually rolling off for that. But
cool.
Yeah. He has got, so his unit of halberdiers on my left. There's huntsman in the ruins right ahead. Just sticking out of there. The steam tank is sideways. He hasn't lost a step. That's Satrat. He knows what he's doing with that little extra 2-inch pivot at the start. Behind it, he's got a very interesting formation of knights. They are actually 9 wide. 2 ranks of 9 wide with 3 characters. So he's got his BSB, his general, and his prelate in there, which was kind of the intention with them all being on horses. Very cool base volley gun. Quite wide, but, it's all good.
That would insinuate he wants to maximise his horse attacks against your big unit.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, he's pretty much gone so that everyone can attack rather than. Yeah, that's it. Then he's got his smaller unit of cavalry in front of the arcane engine. I was quite surprised to see the arcane engine not in between the great weapon unit and the knights, giving its bonus to both of them. Like spread the 2 big units out, which I was quite pleased about because it meant the arcane engine probably could only give the benefit to one of them.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll see how that goes. Then he's got his other volley gun, the former Skaven warp lightning cannon, and then the big Imperial infantry on the hill on the right. The other huntsmen are on my far right, which you can't see in this picture. Maybe you can see in a minute.
Maybe.
Not in that one. That's pretty much the same picture at a different angle. There they are. They're in the forest over there. Forking of the hill, I chose to... this is always tricky, I can't remember the term. I chose to not care about the forest. So the forest was the one I was defending. Is that right?
Okay,
and
sure.
And he chose the ruins where the huntsmen were, on my left flank.
Sure.
So, yeah. So there's that. Vanguard, I moved up both the Ramphadons, like so. I couldn't get behind him with either Ramphadon. Purely, I don't think Starrat was particularly planning that or measuring that out. It was just the way it was spread out.
Yeah.
I couldn't get to anywhere useful. And my turn 1, I move up as follows. Create a bit of a V shape going on, or a curve, really. Moving everything up. I couldn't get round the side of him either with my Ramphadon round the side of the halberdiers, so just spaced out with my Ramphadons on the flank and everything else moving forward. The chameleons are looking to shoot at the volley gun to start with.
Cool.
And the salamanders are looking to hit the huntsman because they hit on a 2-er, so skirmisher and soft cover doesn't matter. They're going to flame them some huntsmen.
Yeah.
Which is
and
pretty
do you
handy.
get, because they what, 3 and 2, are they?
They were 3 and 2, but the maximum hits I can do on a flamethrower are 5 anyway, so it wouldn't have mattered the extra D6 plus D3.
And if you do it with one of the flamers and kill 2, does that mean you can only do 3 with your next one?
Yeah, however many there are is the maximum you can do.
Cool.
That's why a flamethrower on one single model is basically pointless.
Yeah, sure.
Unless it's strength 10.
Multiple wounds.
10 flamer, yeah, multiple wounds. Multiple wounds 10.
It's not bad then.
No, it's still cool for the flamethrower, yeah. I moved this Ramphadon over this way and made sure I faced the huntsman. I knew that there was a way that he gets the huntsman out of line of sight of the Ramphadon, but I wasn't too bothered about that. My main objective here, which I was kind of disguising, was I wanted the Ramphadon round the right side of the infantry, the Imperial infantry, and moving on into his backfield next turn.
What, you got movement March 16?
March 16, yeah. And I didn't want them failing a frenzy test and going into the Imperial Guard. I didn't mind if he left the huntsman in line of sight, and I would then have to charge them if I failed the frenzy. But I didn't want to go into the Imperial Guard and just die, so I faced him that way.
Yeah, makes sense.
Not really too bothered if the huntsmen get out, because I don't need to kill them anytime soon. They're not causing much damage. Yeah, because we worked out the Ramphadons, because he's a cavalry and a skink priest doesn't count as a beast. So even normal Ramphadons count as cavalry, which is quite handy against huntsmen, because they get bonuses against beasts.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
The beast was only the Taurosaur, so that was good. I get Spark of Creation off and do 2 wounds on his volley gun, which helps the chameleons out. So that's a good start there. I also get Oaken thrown up. And in case I don't mention it, Satrat never dispelled this.
Okay.
I kept on trying to remind him when it was dispellable, in case he wanted to. Because obviously he is a bit rusty. He hasn't played in a couple of years. I didn't want him to miss an opportunity to dispel it if I just hid it behind the house and never mentioned it again.
Yeah.
But no, he wasn't interested in dispelling it, so I had Oaken thrown up for the rest of the game, which is cool. Great. It's fine. And I sacrificed 2 skinks with Breath of Corruption. How do I have Breath of Corruption? Crown of the Wizard King. Nice. What a great spell to have. Because he has got a Night Bus and I have got a Toxic Breath Weapon from 18 inches.
There we go.
I mean, how awesome is that?
Yeah.
So yeah, that's a really cool spell to pick from the laws. So I could sacrifice skinks.
Who did you give it to? The Taurosaur?
No, I had to do it on the caster.
Right, okay.
It has to be on the caster with Breath of Corruption.
Sure.
And you kill, you sacrifice models in order to increase it to 18-inch range. So I was sacrificing 2 skinks because their discipline is, only killing 2, which is great. But he did actually dispel this. So this picture was purely to demonstrate what I'd got. So you have to kill them even though the spell gets dispelled, which is fine. But yeah, he dispelled it, so it wasn't there. The chameleons knock off the remaining wounds. Pretty much did 1 or 2 each. And yeah, that's a volley gun down where he gets to shoot. So
couldn't have gone for the proxy one first?
No, I guess not.
Out of order.
No, couldn't reach it. You'll see I've got the Toad Rage on the other volley gun, and I think on the Arcane Engine as well.
Sure.
Which is kind of giving him a clue that that's where I'm heading with the Ramphadons, really. Over here, my Salamanders both hit, but somehow I only managed to kill 4 of the 5 Huntsmen. The Spearback doesn't hit with much either.
You have to do it separately, so it's not like...
Yeah, exactly, yeah. There's always a chance on the second one I don't roll many 3s to wound, so... Yeah, that's fine. He's alive with 1, but it's all good. Didn't misfire, that's the main thing. Over here, Satrat, turn 1. He moves them out of line of sight of the Ramphadon, which is absolutely fine and expected. But at least it means there's no frenzy test at all for the Ramphadon now.
Sure.
Which is cool. He gets, Stars Align on the volley gun. He was pretty pleased about that.
He was drunk.
Well, yes, drunk with Stars Align. Yeah. I actually instantly regretted letting him get this. I didn't even try and spell it. And I realised that, that technically is divine attacks on the volley gun.
Yeah.
Which,
is divine not...
Well, this came up and we weren't sure about this one.
I've got a sneaky feeling, and please, obviously,
viewers
tell us right. I've got a sneaky feeling divine attacks is purely combat or melee.
Yes, it is. It's a combat. It's a melee rule. Divine attacks. However, we got confused because Stars Align specifically has an upgrade to affect shooting.
Okay.
And we were like, well, why is it giving divine attacks when the spell can be upgraded to include it on shooting?
Sure.
So we weren't sure about that. So much to the extent that when the volley gun shoots at the Saurian warriors, because it will in a minute, the first time round I said divine attacks is a combat ability. You don't get the reroll to my successful Aegis.
Yeah.
But then we thought about it and had a discussion about it, and we came to the conclusion, for the sake of this battle, I'm going to take it like they're divine.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Mainly, just because. But yeah, if you want to comment in there about whether or not divine attacks on a shooting weapon wouldn't occur, even if it's cast via Stars Align, that would be good.
Yeah. All right, fair play.
You're absolutely right. It is listed in the combat rules, and it says melee rule.
Sure.
So, yeah. Anyhow, so there is Stars Align going on there. And going into shooting, he actually kills off only 2 Saurian warriors. But I think technically that is before we had that discussion about Divine.
Yeah.
On this version, he didn't have Divine. And then when I...
Oh, so he didn't cast it with the upgraded?
No, he did. He did.
Oh, right,
he did. I didn't let him... I didn't re-roll my successful Aegis the first time around. But then we discussed it.
Is it because you rolled like 8? You rolled like 8 5
no.
out of 10. No, I get it this time.
No, because I redid it instantly and lost 1 more. I just didn't take a picture of it. So I lost 3 in the end because I gave him the divine things. So it was all fine. You can see that these skinks, both have fled from the cavalry, the small cavalry block.
Yeah.
1 unit has gone right behind the Taurosaur, etc. The other unit barely fled anywhere and has actually blocked my Saurian unit a bit, which isn't ideal. But he failed the pursuit. He rolled a 1 and a 2. I think he rolled 2 1 1 for his charge. So it was pretty pathetic. It wouldn't have even succeeded if I'd held the charge.
Sure, yeah,
so it was really weird. But anyway. Over here, the steam tank moves forward. Not particularly far. They're just moving over towards this direction. You can see where my ramp gun is now on that side. I don't think I particularly showed it before. The halberd is just hanging back. Over here, I make quite a long charge with the Raptor Riders. It was 9 or 10, I think I needed. But my Raptor Riders really didn't have any other task other than killing these huntsmen, guarding the flank from the Imperial infantry.
Sure.
And kind of guarding the forest because it was his king of the hill. So I went for it with nothing to lose from failing and got it. Losing 1 in dangerous terrain. But yeah, that's awesome. I have actually managed to clear out the huntsman. So I fully expect to win that.
Yeah.
Which is cool. And that's the rest of my turn 2 movement. So I rally both units of chameleons, which is what they do. That's nice. One of which moved out of the way of the Saurians in time for them to move how they wanted to. Obviously, they couldn't charge, and it would have been a long charge anyway, but that's fine. I left the single huntsman alone, sitting in front of my lines, because I was just fanning out a bit and staying away from the steam tank. The steam tank actually just touched the ruins and took 1 wound in dangerous terrain. So rolled a 1 on its DT.
Wonderful.
Which was hilarious. So 6 more to go on the steam tank.
Does it count as marching then when it does the random movement?
You know, that is a really good point. That's a really good point, because maybe it doesn't. Maybe it shouldn't have done that at all.
Because if you charge, flee, march,
it's just random move. It's not a march move, is it? Yeah, good point. Actually, I don't think we need to even put that one to the comments. I think that's just we did that wrong. Actually, it shouldn't have taken a wound there. So yeah, good point. So yeah, that's my movement. So the salamander on the left couldn't quite move into range of the halberdiers. Otherwise, it would have gone straight through and started burning halberdiers, because that's the juicy target. But I did move it so that it was in range next time to do so. Hopefully.
Unless he moves back.
Unless he moves
like
back.
Like the sneaky rat he is.
Yes, exactly. I think that's just a picture of how it looks on that side of things. Don't think there's anything new there. I get Spark of Creation and Master of Earth on the steam tank. Nice. He dispels Breath of Corruption again, because he knows that's a toxic one. Which 6s I do wounds, or on 4s I kill knights. So he needs to dispel that, whatever. And
there's blood everywhere on the steam tank.
Yeah, I was actually more than 18 inches away from the knights, so the Breath of Corruption was only ever going to be affecting the steam tank. So it would have been wounded on 6s, but still
it's
very good.
Wounds, isn't it? Because of toxic. So
that's it. So yeah, I got 2 wounds off with a Spark of Creation and a Master of Earth, which is now 3 total on the steam tank, but should have been 2. So keep that in mind.
You could just say you did an extra one Spark of Creation.
Yeah. Over here, cheekily, the huntsman actually killed one of my raptors, but I do enough to win.
That is cheeky.
We use same agility.
Sure.
Agility 3 on the charge.
Yeah.
Over here, into turn 2 for Sterat, the steam tank fortunately doesn't look like it takes a charge DT, because that would have been bad if it took lots of DTs and rolled once and it kept on making the same mistakes more than once. But he does roll enough to get into the Ramphadon. I think he actually rolled like, we laughed about it because we said, are you going to roll the 5d3 one? Because he needed a 11 to get into this Ramphadon.
Sure.
And I said, that's probably unlikely on 4d3. But do you want to roll 5d3 just in case he'd forgotten that he could do that on Steam Tank current rules? And he said, no, I'll be all right. I'll do it on 4. And he goes and gets it on 4. He really rolled 11. Absolutely, yeah. Well, true. So yes, he's into my Ramphadon, and that's not ideal because the Ramphadon was about to go on a bit of a tear around the flank and do all sorts. So, a bit gutted about that because I do like my Ramphadon boy. This Ramphadon suffers a similar fate in that I moved up behind the Imperial infantry. This was a bit silly on my part, actually. The volley gun just popped him. Basically just unloads 3 volleys of shots. I am hard target, but thinking about this, I could have easily been more than 12 inches away to give him a -1 from long range.
Sure.
So it's just 24-inch range. I could have easily just been on the hill and been like 12.1 inches away.
And it would make sense if you're on the hill to get a re-roll on any sort of charge.
Well, exactly. It would have been a re-rollable 5 to charge him on Swift Stride. I didn't need to be in short range. And he would have been hitting on 6s if I'd have been in long range.
Yeah.
Whereas this way he was hitting on 5s. And it's strength 5. So my Ramphadon didn't really stand a chance once he'd hit with a few. So, yeah, that was silly on my part. But oh well, that's Skink Captain down.
Yep.
Another Skink Captain down. So I've lost both my Skink Captains in that one turn there. Of course, the Steam Tank can't overrun or pursue or anything, so it just turns around after steamrolling him, and it literally did with the impact hits. So no problem. Into my turn 3. So I move a Salamander up in front of the Steam Tank. There's a better picture of that in a minute. The other Salamander, I still couldn't get quite round the flank of the Halberdiers. So I decided not to go close. I'm thinking about drawing the Steam Tank away from the action on the left flank.
Okay.
So that Salamander declines shooting the Halberdiers this turn, so that if the Steam Tank goes into the first Salamander, that's fine. I've got can't overrun, exactly. And I've got my knights ready to charge, both in front and his flank.
They all lances?
Yes, all my knights are lances, yeah. I really wanted to get a knight unit in the flank of the Steam Tank. So I felt like
more attacks.
8 attacks from 4 Raptor Riders wouldn't be enough to do 4 wounds to a 1-up armor save.
Sure.
I mean, it's AP3 with my lances. I didn't think that would be enough with only 8 attacks when I was hitting on 3s, wounding on 4s.
You reroll 1s or something to hit, don't you?
Yeah, it's the wounding that's the problem. Wounding on 4s, though, and he's still got a 4-up armor save. So technically, if you're half and half 8 attacks, you're only doing 2 wounds, and that's if you hit with everything.
Yeah.
So I didn't like my odds of just a frontal charge with a Raptor unit.
Oh, you got
felt like I needed the flank as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's why the Salamander is in front of him, and the other one is away. I decided that if the Steam Tank went chasing that Salamander on flank, then I had more time to deal with him, really.
Yeah.
Because he just random move takes another turn for him to get back in the action where he is now. The Spearback was hoping to shoot the Steam Tank and hopefully fail a few 3-up armor saves. See how that goes. Skink's hanging on. Yeah, in my previous turn, the Huntsman had died, the single Huntsman. I think he was killed by probably blowpipes or javelins from the Taurosaur or something.
Sure, yeah.
Nothing too tricky. And I just moved the Saurian warriors. Actually, that was something I've forgotten. In his turn 2, he needed an 11-inch charge from the Imperial infantry into the flank of my warriors.
Ooh.
I didn't realise I'd left that, and he took it, and that is why his Imperial infantry haven't moved very far.
Yeah.
They failed the charge, but man, he actually did that charge, and then the very next roll of the game was him rolling his random move on the Steam Tank, getting an 11. So it was kind of like, wow, you need an 11 on charge, and then you get an 11 with the Steam Tank. So crazy. But yeah, I could have been in trouble if those Imperial infantry got in my flank. The only bonus for me would have been that he would have been still great weapons attacking last.
Sure.
So I might have been able to hang on and then turn around, etc. But wouldn't have been ideal. So I shouldn't have even left an 11. Didn't need to.
Is he 10 wide? With his...
yes, he might even be something like 12 wide because it was just the movement tray he had. So
yeah.
Over here, I move the Raptor Riders out of range of the volley gun because their job is done, as far as I'm concerned. I was kind of forward planning to, if the Imperial Infantry came over, how could I prevent them getting the forest? Because that's his only scoring unit over there. But I didn't want them shot off by volley guns, really. So that was the thinking there. Yeah, and over here, I've kind of already explained what this plan was. So it's just a close-up. Yes, so in his turn 3, he takes the bait of the other salamander and goes off to the flank, which I'm fine with. I would have been even more fine if he rolled really low on the random movement, but it wasn't that far, so can't argue with that really. Yeah, and he gets into the salamander, probably going to kill that one, so never mind. In the middle, he decides to chaff with his small knight unit. This is after causing the chameleons to run away, I think. Or did I move them back? I might have moved them back in my turn 3, actually, because they weren't able to get to the volley gun or anything like that. Yeah, so he chaffs with his small unit of knights and just gets the arcane engine over to his other unit of knights. So he's chosen a unit for the arcane engine to buff, really. And there's just that in the middle, a bit of a standoff until someone does something, which he's hoping I will do if I charge the small unit of knights. Over here, Salamander actually survives the impact hits and runs away off the board. And does a wound. Well, yes. And does a wound as well, which, is hilarious.
There you go.
Yeah, it's AP 1. He rolled a 1 on his armour, so yeah, good go in Salamander before he died.
Yeah, man.
Well, technically he ran away. He survived.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then into my turn 4, I think I just moved he moved his Imperial Guard backwards, so that I didn't have an overrun after I killed the cavalry with my Saurian warriors.
Oh, I wouldn't have minded that.
Sure. You reckon my Saurian warriors died to the Imperial Infantry if I charged him?
If you get an overrun into his Imperial Guard?
Yeah.
Absolutely, because he has a flank charge with his...
Yeah, with his knights, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, but he decided... I think he kind of had an eye on the objective now. So it was like moving backwards. His turn 4, because
he knows he's got to get something over the objective.
Yeah, because the ruins that I'm going for are in the heat of the action. Yeah. I've got 3 scoring units over there, so the likelihood is I will get that King of the Hill objective. So he needs to win this one. So I think he had that in the back of his mind as well as the overrun thing. In my turn 4, so I move these chameleons over because immediately I'm thinking my turn 4. He's only got 3 turns to get to the forest. If I actually chaff and redirect him for 2 turns with 2 units, I can stop him getting to the forest, which would be awesome. So that's the idea of moving the chameleons over, but still more than 24 inches away from the volley gun, so I don't want them shot.
Sure.
And yeah, I think this is just how it's set up. Because his steam tank went all the way over there, I couldn't get my cavalry charge on him unless I was going into the front of him.
Yeah.
And I still didn't like that, so I still didn't go for it.
Okay.
And I just reset like so. I do charge the knights in the middle though, with my Saurian block. I want to try and get them gone, and then I'll just turn to face, so be in the front of both his units.
Yep.
I get healing waters on my Saurians as well. He hasn't got any flaming attacks anywhere unless he uses the prelate's bound spell.
So did he stop Stone Skin? Is it?
I think he probably was stopping Breath of Corruption, actually.
Okay, sure.
And I think I cast Healing Waters because it was easier.
Yeah.
I didn't have many dice. It might have been the lower dice phase on this one.
Okay.
But yeah, because I've got Open Throne up constantly, it's actually a 4-up Fortitude. So it's actually really good.
You cast on a 6 as well.
Exactly, yeah. So cast on a 5, I think, with Open Throne up. So even better. Something like that anyway. But yeah, but you will see that the knight survived. I only killed 3 of the 4 because he just passed armor saves. It's just silly, really, isn't it? But yeah, whatever. So that knight will come back to haunt me, unfortunately.
Well, that'll give him more confidence with his knights as well.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. I don't know what his spell he's got in his hand. It might have been Under the Stars Align. Who knows? But yeah, I think this is just. Oh no, this must be his turn 4 now. Because he's rallied his knight in the middle, comes back into play, and the steam tank has just bombed it forwards off the flank, really. back into the game, exactly where it was 2 turns ago, which is fine. He does really well with this one. Not only does he swift reform the Imperial Infantry, but he keeps the wizard, the divination wizard, in there. Casts what is it, an Earring Strike?
Sure, yeah.
And kills all 3 of these. I know I've only moved all of them. I've only moved one of them over, but yeah, my raptors are dead. So ergo, that means I will not be stopping him getting the forest, unless he doesn't move his scoring unit into it, which he obviously will.
And that's 1,000 points as well.
Absolutely, yeah. So in some ways it's good because I don't have to worry about the Imperial Infantry unit.
Yeah.
But there is now pressure on me to draw King of the Hill. So I can't stop him. So over here, the cannon kills the salamander, the last salamander, and the spearback panics and runs away. I don't blame him, really. He's just seen his cousin eliminated by a cannonball. Yeah. Would I do that for you? Yeah.
Put it in the comments, folks.
If you took a cannonball to the mouth, I might not stand against the enemy. Shake the hand. No.
For PTG!
Cool, yeah. I'm out of here. There we go. So there's that. And oh yes, into my turn 5. I decide if I don't do something now, it's going to be a stalemate. And I hadn't lost many points. He hadn't lost many points.
No, yeah.
It could have ended in a 10-10, except for the fact that he was definitely in a more stronger position for the objective. So I decided, let's do this. And my Saurian warriors used their Relentless banner to move 14 inches forwards.
14 because of the
maximum, because of the characters.
Yeah.
And I didn't attempt to move any characters out of the unit either, which is also the other part of the Relentless.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm really glad that we found that out in that battle.
So early on.
I know, I could have done that wrong in a tournament and it would have killed me. So it was much better that we, you told me about that when you did. Thank you.
Yeah, I only know because Tanker told me because of the warriors.
yeah, sure, yeah, exactly, yeah. I moved my skink unit in front of the steam tank. Again, I'm trying to set the steam tank up so that I can flank charge him with a raptor unit. But I am running out of turns, and I wasn't really sure that would work with the skinks either. So I'm really just trying to stop it. I do have Breath of Corruption on the Warlord, who's the front left of my Saurian unit.
Sure.
So Breath of Corruption is in range of the steam tank, but it's also in range of the knights. So who am I actually going to use Breath of Corruption on if I actually get it off?
Yeah.
It's got to be the knights now that I've gone in front of them, hasn't it? So, yeah. But it's not really Breath of Corruption that I'm able to get off. He dispels it, which he has done the whole game. But it does mean I get Stone Skin off, which is awesome. So I am now res 7 on my Saurian warriors, which is cool. Because he'll only be strength 6 on his knights. So them wounding on 5s, that probably isn't as appealing a charge. Yeah, it's just such a good spell, especially with Open Throne. So yeah, awesome for them. Over here, I move my chameleons back, running away from the divination wizard. I can't stop him now. Yeah, this is into his turn 5 though, so he's just moving up. He's got 1 turn to move onto the forest, so I did contemplate, is there any way that I could charge chameleons in and snipe his wizard? But I was like, nah, 3 wounds, 5 chameleons, it's not going to happen.
Daggers to the robes.
Exactly, yeah. And then just die horribly, but no, it wouldn't. It was a wizard master, so it would have been a lot of points if they'd actually paid it off. But yeah. So yes, into Starrat's turn 5. I did not expect this at all. He declined the charge on the Saurian unit, stuck his single knight in front of them to chaff them, and then marched his knight unit into the ruins. Didn't take a single DT failure, so that was a good move for that reason alone. And he's made it so that I cannot get a scoring unit into that terrain feature
unless you charge them,
unless something charges them. And I can't charge with my Saurian warrior unit because they're chaffed by the single knight. So that was cool. I thought that was a really good move. And not one I expected, really. I thought he was either going to go aggressive and charge me, which probably wouldn't have been ideal, or or prepare for a turn 6 charge when I get in the objective.
Sure.
And push me out of the objective. But instead he decided to defend the objective, which was really cool. Charges the steam tank into the skinks as well.
It's his
the
turn.
Halberdiers,
He's still got
his turn.
His
turn 5. Yeah, he's got the bottom of the 6. So
his steam tank could charge anything that does go in as well.
Yeah, exactly. In turn 6. Yeah. The Halberdiers have just buggered off because they're no use to anyone. Yeah. Obviously, he doesn't need a scoring unit in the terrain. He's just trying to stop me getting one of mine.
Yeah.
So yes, this is how we did it. His models are actually in the front of the movement tray. They're not actually where they are, but that's a weighting issue more than anything else. So he's further forward than he looks there. It's where the movement tray is, not the models.
Cool.
No, I definitely can't get in the terrain unless I go round the flank, which my skinks are kind of blocking now. Yeah. So cool. He divinates 3 skinks, as you do. But crucially, I don't panic, and it's enough for me to keep my points for another turn. So can't be too upset about that. So what have we got? Oh yeah, this is just the skinks dying horribly to steam tanks and fleeing. And interestingly, that actually causes them to block one of my raptor units from being involved in the charge if they want to. So moving the skinks there hasn't really worked for me at all. And also he's managed to get it so that the steam tank is in the front of both raptor riders, even if the skinks weren't there. So that plan definitely didn't work. I never got into the flank of it. So yeah, dole on that one. And a big pile of dead skinks as well. And obviously the skinks now can't get into the terrain feature, so
yeah, sure,
they can't help. So what do I do? Only thing I can do. I declare the charge with my warlord only, my Taurosaur, and the 4 raptor riders. I did say to StatRat when he was chaffing with his single knight, did he want to try and chaff my character at all? He didn't, for one reason or another. I think if he hadn't have chaffed where he did with his knight, you kind of see it there. In front of the Saurian unit, then my BSB would have been in the flank of the knight unit.
Sure.
So he's actually chaffing my BSB on the other side, but that meant my warlord was in the front of the unit. So he couldn't chaff both my characters, which is, I guess, good thing for having them both on each flank, really. Yeah. And they're both quite killy.
Is he in a position where if you charge, you're not in the ruins?
Yeah, I wouldn't touch the ruins with anything that went in as well, because he's at the start, but maybe he could have made it so that I would have DTs as well.
Yeah, that's what I would just ever so slightly so that your front is in it, because you still wouldn't have been able to march onto the ruins.
No, exactly. Charge, had to be an inch away.
Which you're doing. You
all of them would have to take DTs.
Yeah, and 1s and 2s for Cav, I think. So
yeah, probably, yeah.
Ruins.
Yeah, good point. But no, the movement tray was out the front of it. So
yeah.
I didn't think of that at the time. I think actually the knights moved as far as they could as well, so they could have moved back, obviously.
Sure.
Yeah.
Where they actually are, it seems like a good position.
Yes, because then I would have gone into the ruins and stuff. Although technically that would have meant my raptor riders were a scoring unit in the ruins if the combat held forever.
True. I just think because he's got the tank, but yeah.
Absolutely, yeah, no, you're right. Cool, and I get in with everything, and I make it so that the warlord is on the left of the combat.
Run away.
So yeah, everything else runs away from the steam tank because it's no use to me now. I couldn't charge with this raptor unit, and I couldn't get in the objective, so I'll just put distance between us.
Was there no possible to crisscross?
Well, I did. So the warlord has crisscrossed to go on the left.
Oh, right. Cool.
You can't really see because he's the raptor riders, but yeah.
Sure, that's good.
So the warlord is the one with the big sword up in the air. So he crisscross went in first, and then the raptors. The raptors actually had to wheel to get past the skinks, so they couldn't actually go anywhere except straight on in the end, because they had to wheel to get past the skinks. They'd already used their wheel, so that was as good as I could do.
Now here's a question. It's quite theoretical, I guess, at this point, because I don't know the angles and stuff. He can see your raptor riders, couldn't he?
With his steam tank?
Steam tank. You physically see them. Because he's large and you're standing tall, right?
Do you mean the Raptor Riders or the Warlord?
Raptor Riders.
He's large. I'm standard tall.
So he can see your unit.
Yeah.
He can come within an inch and stuff. Can he? He can't be touching though. Is that the thing? If you
because my Warlord's in the way.
Yeah,
because my Warlord's in the way. So yeah.
So he couldn't be touching your Warlord, but be directly behind him. If that makes sense.
No.
In your flank still.
No, he wouldn't be able to do that.
You wouldn't be able to touch. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, and technically, my Warlord is blocking the sight of the Raptors as well, because he's the same height as the Raptors. So I don't think he could have seen the Raptors, could he?
I think if he's large, you would get loads of cover, but I don't think you don't block the line of sight, do you?
Yeah, if you're the same height, you block something that's the same height behind you, don't you?
Only if the thing that you're blocking against is the same height. Because if you're large, you can see things behind, can't you?
Well, not if they're both the same height, though.
I don't
if
know.
you're large and they're standard...
All right, I'll put it in the comments.
I don't think you can.
Regardless of the extra stuff...
completing the charge is impossible.
Can the tank see the unit?
Because I guess you could argue if I'm not in combat and the Warlord was directly parallel, could he shoot a cannon into them? For the same reason.
I guess so. I think you would get loads of cover. I don't disagree with that. I think he can physically see the unit.
Well, I don't think he can.
Interesting.
But yeah, interesting. I guess if there was an inch between them and they weren't in combat for a cannon-wise, that would be tricky to prevent line of sight. Because he'd be able to see some of the other unit. But that's not what we're asking, really. Yeah, cool. No, good one. So that's how it ended up. Anyway, now I am running away with everything else.
Yep.
And so here we go. The Saurian warriors obviously couldn't charge the single knight, so the single knight will survive. And they were just sat in the middle, looking pretty, really. Lost 3 to the first polygon and didn't lose any more.
Yeah.
And that's why, fortunately, it didn't matter that I forgot the Totem of Mixotal. I remembered it in turn 4, which was hard target. Maybe that's why he didn't use the polygon to shoot them anymore. But yeah, so there's that. So it looks like I have a unit of 5 Raptor Riders. I don't. It's 4 and a Warlord. But anyway, here we go. And in Magic, before we get onto combat...
I was going to say...
yeah, hang on. I get Stone Skin on the Raptor Riders. And the reason I put on the Raptor Riders, obviously, is because they are my scoring unit in the Ruins. So I need him not to kill them with his attacks. So my Raptor Riders are now 2-up armor and res 7, which is really cool.
Sure, yeah.
Obviously the Taurosaur didn't really need to be.
Because of Oaken Throne, you're getting an extra. You raise an extra.
That's it. Yeah, exactly, yeah. So that Raptor's on the back, which is nice. So impact hits kills the entire back rank. No, sorry, that's technically a lie. Impact hits and the Warlord's attacks.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because he's shooting at the same time.
He's got like 6 attacks though, hasn't he? So.
Yeah. I got 5 impact hits. Then you can see I've killed more than 5. So I rolled 4.
How many were in his back rank? Was it 9?
Yes, actually, you can see there's 2 Skaven weapon teams either side of the Ruins underneath the movement train.
Sure.
Can you see them?
Yes.
They're in the front rank. So that's how many he's got. He's got 7 there, plus 2 weapon teams.
Right.
So he's 9 wide. He had 15 knights and 3 characters. So it was 18 in the unit. Yeah. He's only got 9 left. I killed 9 with my impact hits. 5 impact hits. I think I killed all with that. And the Saurian Warlord. Starat failed loads of 4-up armor saves. Loads. Yeah, absolute loads. Because they're 1-up armor. And I'm only AP3. In fact, I was AP2 with the Warlord. So yeah, he was rolling 1s and 2s a lot on the armor, and I think Starat was like, "That's game then." Yeah. And the combat wasn't even finished. I think that's why I took this picture now.
Sure.
Because there was more to come. More to come indeed. He lost another 4. I think that's another 4 knights to my Raptors.
Yeah.
I lost 1 Raptor in return. He knew
the
he
one
needed
you raised.
Yeah, exactly. He needed to use some attacks on the Raptors because they were the scoring unit, and he knew he was going to be down heavily on combat res.
Yeah.
He knew he wasn't stubborn. He wasn't going to be steadfast, I don't think. Should he have been steadfast?
At this point, it depends whether Taurosaur has a rank, technically.
Oh yeah, it does, doesn't it? They do have one rank, don't they?
I think so, yeah.
So yeah. So there's that. Yes. So I pursue, I catch with everything.
And no DTs.
No, I didn't take it. I didn't fail any DTs, which is handy as well. Yeah, I mean, I would have taken the outside one. There's 2 of them in the terrain feature. So I could have, unless I'd failed all of my DTs or 3 of them, I probably would have been okay. So I suppose I should have taken. If I'd have lost 3, then I think I still could have had the second one in.
Sure. And the steam tank doesn't go in to do anything.
In Stat Rat's turn 6, he charged the steam tank into the Warlord because he couldn't. It was too long a distance to get into the Raptors,
sure.
Or at least it was harder to get into the Raptors.
Yeah.
He actually went into the Warlord and they bounced. None of them did a wound to each other. Fair enough. We did fight that, but it didn't affect the. He was hoping to kill the Warlord and make a panic test or something like that.
Sure.
Nothing happened, which is why there's no picture of it. But yes, it means I do draw the objective, which is cool. The King of the Hill. So yeah, boring. King of the Hill.
Yeah, we do draw.
We do draw.
After all that.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, what a fun battle. And I mean, it was a nice idea of Starat to try and prevent me getting into the terrain feature. But because of the drawn objective, and obviously I get a lot of points for killing his 3 characters and his big knights at the end, it does work out to be a 14-6 to the Saurians. So yeah, delighted with that. I mean, yeah, take away both the Starat was rusty from 2 years of not playing, and I picked his list. Did I tailor it? So there's that. Well,
he didn't have what is it, Van Horstman's Speculum or whatever.
No, he didn't. He didn't have that. No, I didn't give him that. No, didn't give him that. Definitely not. No, that would have screwed me up.
It would have screwed you. Massively.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Do you have a champ in your
Raptors? No.
Mate, you need. I think you need to.
Really? Why?
Because for that reason, he could have challenged you out.
What, the Warlord?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in fact, probably should have with his unit champions to make sure he didn't do 6 wounds on the unit.
Yeah, because I mean, the Taurosaur killed 5, but then the Warlord killed another 3 or something. So, yeah.
Well, if you've got rid of the whole background, it's 4, isn't it?
Exactly. Yeah. So
3 less you would have. I mean, not for overkill, combat-based reasons, but
yeah. Yeah, but it was a great battle. Great to see Starat back in action, and really enjoyed it. So yeah, there we go. Give us some comments what you think of that, and we'll see for the next one, guys.
Yeah, crack on. See you later.